In this video, we're going to be looking at some deburr operations on this bicycle suspension component. This is a cast component that has been previously finish machined in select areas, and all remaining sharp edges and casting slag must now be removed before being sent out for powder coat. To accomplish this, let's leverage Mastercam's multi-axis deburr technology. Deburr is not new for Mastercam 2022, but there are some big enhancements to this already powerful toolpath. In this Mastercam file, the edges have already been broken with a 6mm ball end mill by 0.25mm. Let's launch Backplot and see the result. Deburr intelligently programs all internal and external edges of this component with automatic tool axis control and compensation. This yields a safe, gouge-free process for breaking edges that would otherwise require a secondary manual operation with human hands. Humans make mistakes, and there is nothing worse than scrapping a part at the very last step of the process. On this job, after shipping off the first small batch of parts, the customer has decided that they would like to make some revision changes. Navigate over to the second view sheet. The needed changes include adding a 1.5mm fillet to the edge shown by this red piece of wireframe, and an oversized 1.5mm chamfer on this blue edge. This new chamfer is large enough where it can no longer be considered just breaking the edge. If I were to simply adjust the size of the break edge directly in the deburr toolpath, the ball nose tool would leave a very noticeable concave radius on that edge, as shown here. This would not meet the customer's specifications. In past releases of Mastercam, my only choice would be to model these modifications with solids or model prep, and then program the resultant features. Due to the internal location, I'd be forced to either multi-axis machine them with a custom tool axis control strategy or utilize some specialized undercut tooling through the open pockets. Neither option is a small effort. However, in Mastercam 2022, I can easily do this directly in the deburr toolpath. Start by copying down the original deburr toolpath. Launch the parameters and navigate to the cut pattern page. Deselect all previously defined edges and select the edge that calls for the 1.5mm chamfer. Click OK and set the edge shape to a constant width of 1.5mm. Here's where these new enhancements come into play. In Mastercam 2022 Deburr, I can set the number of cuts along edges to flat and make 4 separate passes. Think of this like a step over in surface machining. Click OK, and after generation, look at the display of this new deburr toolpath. The tool will now take 4 individual passes, making up this large chamfer. This also leverages the automated tool axis control of the original deburr operation. This makes for a very simple programming process, especially compared to trying to create this motion manually with a standard 5-axis path. Along the same lines, let's explore doing this on the other edge with a fillet strategy. Copy this last deburr operation down again and launch parameters. Reselect the loop on this other solid edge. The desired fillet was specified as 1.5mm, so we can leave the edge shape setting as is. This time I will choose rounded instead of flat. As you can see in the preview image on the top right, this will give us the convex rounded edge the customer has asked for. Because this is convex, more than 4 passes will likely be needed to properly machine that edge. Enter 6. With everything set, click OK and let that generate. Select all 3 deburr operations and launch Mastercam Verify. At this point, I'm not too worried about the machine motion, but rather how the fillet and roundover on the edges in question will look on the part. Run all the way through the simulation and navigate to the Verify tab and turn on the YZ clipping plane. Dragging the clipping plane to a point that intersects the chamfer Notice how this does a great job simulating a true chamfer, not a concave radius that would inevitably be the result of one pass. Now click and drag the clipping plane to a new location that intersects the filleted edge. Notice how this new option in Deburr creates a near perfect fillet with only a single edge as the selection for programming. In this particular case, you can almost make out the step-over passes in Verify, but obtaining a better quality surface finish is as easy as bumping up the number of passes in Deburr to get a tighter step-over. Automated programming or not, this is still a 5-axis machine, and despite being happy with the toolpath, it's always a good idea to run machine simulation to confirm viability on the shop floor. Back on the Home tab, select Simulation, turn the simulation speed down, and ensure that the tool and machine are moving in a safe and efficient manner. Keep in mind that all this machine motion and cut pattern has been created automatically with just a few simple solid edge selections. After the Deburr toolpath in Mastercam was initially released a few years ago, I really didn't think it could get any better, but the development team here at Mastercam has proved me wrong. Mastercam 2022's multi-pass option and the choice of flat and rounded has made the Deburr toolpath more powerful than ever before. As shown here, Deburr can now even automate what would otherwise be a time-consuming programming task.